The year was 1984. While most kids were outside playing video games and riding bikes, a 12-year-old boy sat quietly in front of an old computer screen, typing lines of code faster than most adults could read them. That boy was Elon Musk. He wasn't like the others. He didn't fit in, and that difference would one day make him one of the most powerful people on Earth. But back then, it made him a target. Bullied, isolated, and often misunderstood, Elon was the kid who spoke in logic when everyone else spoke in laughter. He wasn't just thinking about school or friends. He was thinking about the future and how to build it. Born in 1971 in the quiet city of Pretoria, South Africa, Elon's childhood was a strange mix of brilliance and pain. His mother, May Musk, was a model and dietitian, elegant, kind, and endlessly hardworking. His father, Elon Musk, was a mechanical engineer, intelligent but strict and emotionally distant. From an early age, something about Elon stood out. He would often drift into what his parents called trance states. He'd stare into space for minutes, completely lost in thought. Doctors thought he might have a hearing problem. But they were wrong. Inside his mind, something extraordinary was happening. His brain wasn't daydreaming, it was calculating, visualizing, designing entire worlds that didn't yet exist. It was as if a fully functional science lab existed inside his head. He spent hours buried in encyclopedias and science fiction novels, devouring information like oxygen. Every story, every fact, it all fueled the endless machine of curiosity inside him. One night, while playing outside, his cousin said she was afraid of the dark. Without hesitation, Elon replied, "Darkness is only the absence of light." It was the kind of logical statement that made adults pause and other kids roll their eyes. He wasn't normal, and kids didn't like that. At school, the bullying got worse. One day, a group of boys cornered him, threw him down a flight of stairs, and beat him until he was unrecognizable. He was hospitalized, but not broken. The pain became his armor. He learned that if he could survive cruelty, he could survive anything. For a while, the Musk family was happy. Smiles, laughter, and family photos. A brief moment of calm before everything shattered. When Elon was 8, his parents divorced, and the world that once felt safe vanished. While his siblings chose to live with their mother, Elon made a decision no one expected. He chose to stay with his father. It was a decision that would haunt him for years. Errol's strictness turned into bitterness. Elon rarely smiled during those years, but he never stopped learning. Then, at 10 years old, his life changed forever. He saw something in a mall that made his eyes widen, a computer. It wasn't a toy. It was a portal. A new universe. He begged his father to buy it. Eventually, he got one. A clunky old machine with just 5 kilobytes of memory. But that was all Elon needed. He found a small workbook that taught the basic programming language. The book was designed to take 6 months to complete. Elon finished it in 3 days. No sleep, no distractions. Just pure focus. By 1984, at age 12, he created his first video game, Blaster. A simple space shooter where you destroy alien ships. He sold it for $500. That was his first business. While others were buying candy, Elon was building the future. By high school, Elon realized something. He didn't belong in South Africa. He needed a place that matched his ambitions. A country where ideas mattered more than connections. That country was America, but getting there wasn't easy. He first moved to Canada in 1989, using his mother's Canadian heritage to gain citizenship. He lived with relatives, worked random jobs, and barely had money to eat. But he was closer to his dream. 2 years later, he got into Queen's University, and then transferred to the University of Pennsylvania in the United States, finally stepping on the soil he'd dreamed of since childhood. America, the land of invention, chaos, and opportunity. In 1995, after graduating, Elon teamed up with his brother Kimball to start a company. The internet was still new, wild, and full of possibility. Back then, if you wanted to find a local business, you had to use those thick yellow paper directories. And for directions? You needed a paper map. Elon thought, what if all of this existed online? A map of every business in every city, accessible to anyone. That idea became Zip2. The brothers rented a small office, which also doubled as their apartment. Kimball went door to door convincing shop owners to get listed. Elon coded through the night, sleeping on the floor beside his computer. Investors laughed at them. They didn't laugh for long. Within a year, Zip2 took off. It started building mapping and directory software for major newspapers and companies. They soon received millions in funding. And by 1999, during the peak of the internet boom, Compaq bought Zip2 for $307 million. Elon's share? $22 million. At just 27 years old, he became a millionaire. For most people, that would be the end of the story, the happily ever after. But not for Elon. For him, success was just another tool, something to reinvest into even bigger dreams. He looked at the world and saw an outdated system, especially in banking. Banks were slow, bureaucratic, and built for a world that no longer existed. He imagined a future where money could move instantly, without middlemen, without physical banks. So he started XCOM, one of the first online banks. At that time, people didn't even trust online shopping, let alone online banking. But Elon was prepared to take that risk. To attract users, he offered $20 to anyone who signed up and $10 for every referral. It worked. Within 2 months, XCOM had over 200,000 users, but there was competition. A startup called PayPal, founded by a young entrepreneur named Peter Thiel, was doing the same thing. Both companies were burning money to win customers. Finally, in 2000, they merged. Elon became CEO and the largest shareholder, but power came with enemies. His management style was ruthless, demanding impossible deadlines, pushing teams to their limits. Many employees loved his vision but feared his temper. And when Elon went on his honeymoon to Australia, the board seized the chance. They voted him out as CEO and replaced him with Peter Thiel. When Elon returned, he tried to regain control, but it was too late. He lost the title, but not his stake. He remained the largest shareholder, and that would soon pay off. In 2002, eBay acquired PayPal for $1.5 billion. Elon's share earned him $180 million. He was now rich beyond imagination. But before he could enjoy it, tragedy struck. His first son passed away at just 2.5 months old. Elon didn't go home for weeks. He couldn't bear to see the empty crib. As he'd done since childhood, he drowned his pain in work. And that pain would soon fuel his greatest creation,